good morning, good morning. Okay, so you're gonna dive right into it. Um, so for coming up right now, we do have CPI numbers coming out for the US dollar, so that's main medium heavy in focus. USD news that we do have, high impact news that we do have coming out. So we have CPI, and we also have the CAD interest rate decision from the BOC. So the Bank of Canada. We also have the monetary policy report, and the rate is expected to raise by 25 basis points. Now, the thing is, I'm using this forex factory because for whatever reason, my FX book is still down. Some sort of electrical maintenance issue or something like that at one of their data centers. So for the time being, we are using Forex Factory, and apparently they have no backup, which is whack. But it is what it is. So we can see here at the Forex Factory that we do have that coming at 8:30 for the USD CPI numbers, as well as 10 a.m. Right, we have the BOC monetary policies report and the rate, which is expected to raise by 25 base points. Right now, I have a different take on the rates actually raising. Is this going to help the Canadian dollar move, or is it going to make it, turn in the opposite direction? Right, so there's a sort of duality when it comes to the current standing of the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. As we speak about it with the US economy being sort of bad off, we do expect CPI numbers to come out higher, right? I don't know if they'll show it here. I think they show it as percentages here. So the CPI, the previous and the forecast, the forecast we have it at 3.1%, may come out higher than this, right? And well, we have this month comparison, which is 0.3%, right, compared to the previous being 0.1%. Now, on Forex Factory, they do show it as percentages rather than the whole numbers, but we are expected to see something higher than this. So at least from last week, the analysis that we did have, it was summarized to see something higher than that the previous. Right now, with that being said, in terms of entry points into whether we could get into buys or sells for the Canadian dollar, if we are going to go with the overall narrative, right, which is okay, numbers come out good, for the interest rates to increase, then usually that means we could long a situation, right? So for NCD CAD, I am thinking longs or continuations to the downside. All right, so I'm targeting like this area right here, maybe the lows of this supportive level right here, right? Maybe something like this here, right? And this is sort of like my personal take on it, is to see, all right, rates come out, we do see a continuation of that movement, price continue moving downwards, right? And possibly target down to this area. So this is something that I'm looking forward to possibly, seeing as a movement on price, a sort of continuation here. With that being said, let's take a look at GJ, right? So very much short bias on the JPY, looking for a continuation all the way down into this level. You can see the current days we have been moving very strong bearishly. Look at the 4 hour and the 1 hourly, nice. We're seeing nice levels, right? Now, whether we're going to get that continuation, really up to price action, the movement itself, again, mainly largely in focus, CPI numbers. So with that being said, I do think overall we could get a continuation to the downside here. However, I would like to, note that, all right, price has been moving back and forth, working back and forth. GJ hasn't been given the best of moves. You can see here, right, we consolidated in this area, just ranging back and forth for quite a long time. So if we just go to the 4 hour, we can see it more clearly, like 1 2 3 4 5 6. So for almost the entire day, right, we were just ranging until price broke down here, right? So that is something I think is important to note that, right? But we did get that break to the downside, so more than likely we should see a continuation, especially into this next significant level here where we have those rejections on price. So this here would be my sort of trade. Take a short position, stop loss right above the current candle, right, which is right here in this area, looking for a continuation into the zone, right? So this would be the sort of trade setup for me here. This would be like a sell stop, looking for price to continue lower, once we do get a break of this level, especially here at the 1 hour, if we do get a break here, I think that's enough to signify that, all right, bearish momentum still in the market. We can see a push going down. Again, we need to be aware of the CPI numbers coming out. If it comes out less than expected, for the US economy, that's bad. For the yen, that's great. We could see the yen appreciate in value and see price further move downwards, right, on this here GJ. Taking a look at the 30-minute and the 15-minute, same thing, right? So same kind of dynamic. Price came down into this area pretty strongly. We have this level of support. Looking for a break below this area right here would signify those bearish momentum that could possibly target down into the zone, right? So this is the trade setup with a reasonable stop loss area, right? But this is the trade that basically, for GJ, this is as far as I'll go for what I'm looking for the day. Really being more conservative, hence the wider stops than usual, and why it's good to actually wait for the break of this candle, right? So price pushing up right now. If we get that break to the downside, this candle starts turning bearishly, especially coming to the candle close, then yeah, those continuation seems more highly likely for me, right? Besides that, gold, right? So we have the consolidation right now on gold. Overall, gold has been moving up pretty nicely. You can see that we come right into this area of resistance on the daily time frame, right? So this is an area you need to be paying attention to, because if we get a break, right, providing that the US, data, the news does come out bearish for the USD, that if we do get a break, we could see some continuations possibly into this next sort of ranging scenario right here, because again, all this ranginess we have as price was coming down, pushed down, came back into the zone multiple times. So this is an important area we need to pay attention to. Maybe price may pull from here, or if we do break to the upside, then this will be next targeted level, and to see a possible continuation too long, right? And that's what I might take on this here in gold in a broad spectrum, broad aspect. Take a little look at the 1 hour and the 4 hour and the 1 hour time frame. We can see that gold has been gradually moving up. We did have this spiky downside, which was quickly corrected, and we continue moving back into that zone, right? So we're consolidating right here, and this is sort of like the squeeze before the calm before the storm, right? The squeeze that we usually see before the major breakout. Now if price does break out to the upside, that's great for gold bulls and continuation to long, right? And if price does the opposite, which is maintain this level, right, we could see gold pull all the way back down, maybe into these lows here, right? So I think reasonably this will be like a possible target area for me, in case, like, all right, if gold does support, like, hold, right, if price does hold this resistance zone, we could see a retracement all the way back down into these levels here, right? And that's something that I think it has potentiality to play out, but again, it depends on the numbers. So for gold, we'll just have to wait after the consolidation, and we'll have to wait for the numbers to see what price does. If we do get that break, it could take an impulse entry up, right? So as soon as price breaks the upside, it could take an impulse, and this could happen during or coming towards the CPI news, right? We could see that impulse move to the upside. At that point, you could actually take a trade on that candle, expecting for the numbers to come out bad, gold to start buying in and pricing in that, and continue pushing upwards back into these troubled areas, right? So this would be like the first target for me. This would be like the second target here, providing that we do continue with that narrative of gold being sort of the US dollar being sort of bearish, right? But this would be like the trade setup for me. See a bullish candle pushing upwards, and turn that. Once it's coming close to the CPI numbers, at that point the volatility would kick off and help us push up higher, right? So that would be like the sort of if I was to get into gold, that would be sort of trade I'm looking for. But again, this is where you need to be patient with the trade, allow it to happen on its own and not force anything. And the thing is, a lot of people just lack patience these days, right? A lot of people lack patience, and that's why they don't prosper with trading. So besides that, not much. Everything just consolidating right now, because we have the CPI numbers being in focus. We saw this here US 30, S&P 500, right? NAS 100, and even J30 really extend to the upside after all that sort of bearishness, that bearish term we had at the start of the month, right? So we extend back to the upside. Maybe overall we might correct that bearish move, right? Might see price come back into these highs here and then continue higher, right? Depending on those CPI numbers, again, something we need to be paying very careful attention to, right? Markets will react to that, especially on the NAS and US 30. This is something that we need to pay attention to, right? Daily time frame here coming back into these trouble zones. So we might see a break and continue to the upside. So sort of a swing to the upside right here, back into these targeted levels. And I know a lot of you will be focused on like, all right, USD CAD, USD JPY, them kind of things, right? So you can see it's like not even rocket science. It's not even, you know, it's really hard to miss the fact that we are in a strong downtrend. We could get some sort of retracement. Even if CPI numbers do come out good, that retracement would only last for a short period of time, right? It wouldn't be a full-on market reversal or anything like that, but it'll be a good setup if CPI numbers do come out good or better than expected, right? It'll be a good setup to continue lower or continue bearish with the overall trend that we are seeing, right? Because even if CPI numbers do come out as, you know, better than expected, right? Overall, we still seeing a weaker dollar, right? We don't see any chance of the dollar recovering quick like that just on one news event, especially some of the CPI numbers. It does indicate that okay, we may get a rate increase at the next meeting and stuff like that, and what we could expect from the Fed moving forward with their decisions and decision making and whatnot in terms of their monetary policy tools that they do use in order to help with inflation or help keep the economy afloat and stuff like that. The CPI numbers itself won't have that much of a drastic impact if it does actually come out positive, right? And that's something that you should note as well. So even though we see price moving, if price starts moving up, at that point I think it would be good to actually look for sell setups or look at areas where that price action would retrace into and you could possibly get a sell on that move, right? So just like a heads up, a quick, you know, drop a little nugget of wisdom for you guys, right? Okay, so JPY, we can see that the candle has flipped bearish. Alright, so at this point, if we do get a break, and this will come looking closer at the 30-minute time frame, right? If we get this candle actually breaking in downside, that's good for continuation. Early on, I would say not to be too pressed about if this works out or not, because we do have the CPI numbers in focus. And I keep on repeating this, right? CPI numbers are in focus. That is something you need to pay attention to, be aware of how news affects price action early on before the actual news itself, and afterwards what sort of movements you do get, right? See how this candle, it was bearish just now, it flipped back bullish. Now at this point you've been in a drawdown for what? Because you didn't wait until the candle closed, right? Or for that candle closure below the level to give you a confirmation to continue selling, or that the sells is going to continue, right? If anything, it's acting like a little support, but we can't even trade this to the upside because we have all these wick rejections from the upside, right? Hence why we wait in for confirmation. Boom, close bearish underneath this level. All right, sales look like they're going to continue, bada bing, and you know, we profit off of that. But this here right now, this is just like unnecessary stress, right? Because you're gonna enter now, then you're gonna be like, it going back up to the stop loss, it's so close to the stop loss, it read, it going to stop out, I should close it now, I should just leave it, and things like that. It's gonna fuck up your trading, right? And it's gonna fuck up your mentality. So with that being said, you need to have some patience, especially if you're now like you're starting a new account, or you're just in an area where you know you don't want to really have any drawdown, or you know, or you're already in drawdown already. Shit like that would affect your psychology and make you second guess your decisions, which happens a lot for people, new traders as well. Wow, that's crazy. You know why I say that's crazy? Because I had a trade on this coming all the way to the TP, and yeah, it would have worked out pretty nice, pretty nice. Salty, kinda. But I actually get the trade for like a 1 to 4 whatever already, so it doesn't matter. We got in on the buy when price pulled up. We got in on that. I was able to profit off of that somewhere right around here, right? Not all the way up because price had come back down here. Then pushed up at that point. Was able to take the sell, and this is a 1 to 4. But oh well. Looks like we could see some continuations, but again, I'll keep in mind you need to be frugal, right? You need to be kind of careful with your trade setups and stuff. Keep it at 100 with you guys. All right, so this is the GJ trade. Waiting for that, 12 minutes to close. I would say you could enter here, right? But it's just you could enter, but at the same time, don't be surprised if price does a sort of unclose itself, it pulls back up, and then it continues afterwards or something like that, right? So at my point of view, what I'm seeing right now from price, we could get that continuation. It seems like the likely scenario, but again, waiting for that 30-minute candle closure below this area would give like a better confirmation to see those sells continue in the next 30-minute candle, right? And at that point, you could put your stop loss right above here, right above this candle high, looking for the continuations as we broke down this supportive zone, or what was acting as a sort of support, right? And then allow momentum to carry us down further, and then you can secure and lock in your profits, right? So this is about it for me, and I'm going to take my camera off, and yeah, so we'll wait and see what price decides to do here. If we're gonna get a continuation, right? See candle flip again. This is why we're waiting for that confirmation. Less stress. In my mind, the card might actually continue lower. Who knows? It'll be pretty nice. Not gonna lie. I also have another trade running right now. We'll see how that pans out. And this year, I do have a AD CHF trade. But I just now close it out. What I want to see is continuations, break the downside, and possible continuations. That's sort of like my what I want to see happening. Again, being frugal. That's just like something I had to wait and just let price play out. This ADCHF. I think it would be great to see a trade like on ADCHF if we actually get if price does come back into this level, right? So strong pull back into this level. Continuation seems like a higher probability of happening if we do come back here on 4 hourly. Alright, a break below that and then continuing back into this sort of a rejective area, right? But we are in a precarious area right here, which is why I've opted to come out of the trade at this point, because if we do get a break, okay, continuations, enter another trade setup, looking to target these lows. However, this could act as support, price could push up again with market sentiment and the overall momentum. That's something that we could see happening, and it's just like being aware of that, right? Let me try to this. Alright, liking how GJ just being sort of, back and forth, indecisive about what the hell it wants to do right now. So I'm actually taking, I'm taking about 6, no, not 6, I lied, not 6. I'm taking about 3% risk on this, on GJ, to the downside. And again, I say this being very cautious in the fact that, okay, price action, continuation, something we need to be aware of. Yeah, if you'll see what I actually did, it's gonna be like you'll be upset. You'll be upset with me. um. Oh crap! I was gonna move that by mistake. All right, so this here on the current trade I am on NCD card because I took an NCD card sell right now. Just being 100 with you guys. I'm going to add an alert here. Right, I want to see a close below this area and just like so for continuation. On NCD card that is what I like to see for continuation movement. So I'm just being a little patient here. Let's see what sort of movement we can get from this. Alright, so you guys know what I'm in, NCD card. Let me just send this out to the group. See ADCHF, this is what I don't like to see. If price actually pulls forward, great. But the unnecessary support formations, I rather not be in that when crap like that's going on. Alright, so coming to the 30-minute candle close. Looks like we're gonna close bullishly here. We have 2 minutes to candle close. This is why we wait. Alright, if we close bullish here, then we wait for the next candle formation. Right now, if on that candle we actually get a bearish close, right, and if it's engulfing as well, if it's an engulfing candle, right, taking up the entire body of this, and it pushes into the zone, at that point I'll still continue with that sell bias, looking for price to go lower. Alright, just because if we do have that engulfing formation, that gives like a good indication that the sell pressure is still there. Just have a little trouble passing this zone, but overall we're gonna see that continuation. Bear is still in control of the market. Once that zone pass, we're gonna continue breaking lower, right? So that's sort of like the takeaway from that. Right. So you see, if you was just entering at the start of when the candle turned bearish, now you'd have been in a situation where you kind of, coming close to stop loss, or account, this, that, whatever, and you kind of set yourself up for the rest of the day, like a bad mood or a bad turn, right? So that's why we wait. That's why it's important to wait, especially when you're in key areas like this. Wait for those, movements that gives indication. Alright, we're gonna continue bearish. We're gonna continue seeing this. We're gonna see price do this. You gotta wait for those moves. You gotta, allow price to play out. Alright. So again, GJ, great example here on GJ. Right, you just have to be patient sometimes. Just scrolling through the charts here. Hope you guys are having a wonderful morning. Hello Val, Not checking messages here. I really need to get that second monitor, guys. I apologize for my very much poor setup. I just really don't see the need to be having too much in terms of like, alright, I have two monitors going. I could just switch back and forth, right? I have nothing to hide, especially like with the live stream and stuff. It's like you can't see the key, which is great. And yeah, just switching back and forth. It's not really a big channel as yet or anything like that for me to be invested in having a second screen or this whole elaborate setup. So it's like I'm very much, it's very much okay with what I have right now. I don't yeah, it's okay what I have right now. So I'm working with what I got. Okay, if the stream does get bigger, I need to be answering people in the YouTube chat, right? The live chat. It reaches to that point, I'll be like, all right, okay, it's time to get a second monitor. Yeah, you need to invest in a second monitor, guy. Keep becoming that guy, but I'm not that guy yet, so it's okay, it's fine. Yeah. So overall, right now, guys, my only take is continuations here, targeting this level. Besides that, really just, yeah, not much to see. Looks like price might be reversing on this here. Okay, now we actually starting to pull a little bit lower. So depending on how this candle closes, right, that will give an indication as, okay, we're gonna start seeing buy situations right now, or we're gonna continue that sell narrative that we had all the way up here. And this was funny thing. I actually took a sell right around into this area, right? So like right into the area. Price pushed up. Right, this was the first setup, right? So this was the first setup before this one, and this is like what you need to know with like having confidence in your trading plan or idea, whatever it is, and like executing that, right? And the difference between having confidence and just wanting your trade to go away. Now this was the first setup, right? Price came in, it was like right around here, then boom, pushed up. It was like, ah shit, got stopped out. At that point, I did enter a second position right here, because at this point it was like, okay, price could start going down from this level, and then I had a sell stop right on this area right here, right? So for a little context as to why I did that, or like why I still went with the initial bias I had, rather than, okay, seeing price coming up here bullishly, it looks like it's gonna start buying now, see buy continuation, whatever, right? So overall, what we seeing? Clear, nice, very strong downtrend. All right, and this is the thing about knowing the fundamentals as well as the technicals, and how like you could add them together in order to be more accurate, more sure about your bias playing out. All right, so we had the strong downtrend, strong, nice movement to the downside, nice bearish tone. So that is pretty evident right here with the current market dynamics, right? With that being said, okay, we had this pullback right here. We saw that, all right, the AD started to pull back a little bit, the NCD was pulling back a little bit, but what was the reason for that? Was it a shift in sentiment? Was it, what was it, right? And the thing is, for me at least, how I sort of rationalize it, at some point the markets have to pull back, right? So you're looking at key areas as to where the market can start doing that from. Now looking here at the 4 hourly, once we pull into this level and we look to the left, we can see it multiple times market has come into this area and pulled away from it, right? So we know that, okay, at this point we could expect some sort of pullback, we could expect some sort of resistance or some sort of support to be maintained, some sort of movement to hinder price from moving all the way down, because as we know in the markets, price doesn't just move in one direction without any kind of contest, right? We might be moving in one direction pretty strongly or pretty clearly, but at that same time, in that movement, we have pullbacks. We have areas where price will come into, pull back, and then give a continuation. It comes back, pull back, then have a continuation, right? Which is why, and a lot of times, especially trending markets, we see it look like this, right? We're going up, a pullback, continuation. Right? Even come all the way down here, pull back, start continuation, start continuing up, still going up, strong uptrend, right? So with that being said, that was the sort of move. At this point, we had that pullback. Reason why we didn't enter here, why I didn't take a trade here, because this started looking like a support. Price failed to close bullishly here. The candle formation, the opening and the closing basically coming to be the same. The next candle being bullish. At that point, we already know that okay, we could expect some sort of support. Looking at the left on the higher time frame, now we draw this area as an area of interest to see okay, is price going to break down, or are we going to start maintaining it and pulling back up? And so said, so done. Price started actually pulling back up. Now, even though we have that pullback, right, we know overall very strongly market is heading downwards. Sentiment hasn't changed, right, besides just the market doing a pullback on that movement. So at that point, what key areas we could look at for possibly seeing price come back down? Now we have this level right here overall on a downtrend, right? This looks like a good level. Price came here, pulled down. Now we're coming back here to retest, and at that area we could get a move back down, right? That's one. Two, and this is how I rationalize taking this second trade here, right? As price came back up into this area, right, we know that right here is a range, right? This is like a consolidation movement, and we had that break the downside, right? So rationalizing that, this is an area very much we could see those sell pressures continue, right? So this was where I took the trade, putting my stop loss right above that, right above this zone, right, a few pips above this zone, and looking for the continuation. Now at that point, the next candle formation, candle closed bearishly, engulfing that last candle, right? And then we started breaking lower. At that point, it got triggered into the second position, well, the first initial position being the second one now, right? And then we got that continuation to the downside. Again, we targeted this level here, paying attention, right? So are we going to push lower, or are we going to maintain this as a supportive level? Now we do have news coming up, which is the CPI numbers, and that would affect the price action movement on this, the CHFPS, JPY, and to more of an extent gold and Euro USD, right? The Euro pairs, right? Whether it has a move on the AED pairs or the NZD pairs, yes, but not as it won't be as beneficial, right? Or as of a drastic movement, right? The same way how we saw that okay, AD card moved down, but taking a look at Euro card, we just ranged, right? Even though the two are the same, AD card, well, they're crossed with the card, sorry, even though they are crossed with the card, AD card, Euro card, GBP card, and NCD card, right? We can see that the movement, the different movements, they're different, right? In terms of the yield that we could profit off of them, right? So that's something you need to be aware of in terms of market movements. And all right, looking at one pair compared to the next, okay, why this one is moving more than the other one, and this just has to do like the risk sentiment being sort of lackluster, and therefore the movement itself to the downside was pretty much stronger on AED card and NCD card, so to speak, right? So that's just like rationalizing the move itself. I can see candle coming up a little bit bullishly, which I really don't like, because that means at that point we could possibly see, and this trade I do have set up here, the NCD card, hold this as a support and push higher, right? Could possibly see that as a move. But overall, with the strong downtrend, with the strong bearishness that we are seeing, I would just like to see a break of this. I don't want to see this candle actually push higher, right? If it does, it does. At that point, we just wait for a better setup. We just wait for, for price to pull back down and give us that bearish close below this level, and for the continuation. But yeah, right now, I'm still keen to sell, to be honest, this really doesn't do much for me. All right, nice. So see, coming down here to the candle close, nice bearish candle engulfing this candle here in GBP, right? All right, triggered in. Right, we came into that zone nicely. You see, could enter here, but this is still with some risk because candle hasn't closed. Right, we are engulfing those previous bullish candle movement to the upside, that little swing to the upside. So I do think overall we could see that continuation, right? And which is why, all right, at this point I'm more keenly to take it buy, you know, you put, I'm sorry, the sell, sorry, you put your stop loss right above this zone here, because at that point, if prices continue bearishly, we have zero reason to see a pullback all the way up here, especially given all these wick rejections from the top side, right? So look for the continuations moving downwards, and yeah, that's basically about it. So that will be the trade continuing downwards, again paying attention to what we have fundamentally on the docket. So keep that in mind. But yeah, this would be like a nice little setup. I just kind of could close all the way bearishly into here, then that in itself could be a possible trade for continuations, right? But yeah, this is the trade here, guys. This right here, a 1 to 3, you could play out. Risking 14 pips to get a 50, around a 50 pip movement or so, right? Some kind of arraignment. Alright, so I'm gonna call it here. Again, we just waiting, and oh yeah, for the DXY, this is like from my initial analysis on Sunday, right? When I did my analysis, I believe it was Saturday that I did the analysis and uploaded, right? This is the major zone targeting that I'm looking at, right? This right here is the key zone that I'm looking at to see price continue moving. We saw this bearish push all the way from up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, continuously, day after day. Bearish push, right? Past this level, continue with that bearish movement. We have the CPI numbers. If it comes out lesser than expected, that will continue with the bearish bias, and we see price pushing to this level. At that point, it's a free fall for the US dollar, because this is one of the significant lows, right? You saw the dollar come up here. This was in 2021, 2022, right? During the COVID period, the nice little recovery on the DXY. But again, this is a pretty significant level here. We retested it multiple times. So now if price does come back into it, we could expect to see some US dollar fears. Price push down even further below that level, or we could see some bonds selling off, right? And markets try to recover the US dollar weakness, right? So that is yeah, just something to pay a little attention to, a little nugget of wisdom from me to you guys, because I love you guys so much, right? And this channel really here is to help educate and serve the purpose of, you know, helping young aspiring traders such as you, beginner, intermediate, advanced. If you're a guru himself, right? If you're that guy, there's always something to learn from others, right? And that's something that I always take you know, I always say that to myself. Like, I don't consider myself a guru or anything like that. Some people call you, you the goat, this, that, and whatever. And that's like we could evolve and like gain an ego. Luckily, I'm not that type of person, right? I'm very humble. And with that being said, it's like stuff like that could, you know, boost or, you know, make one's ego inflate to the point where they think like, all right, yeah, no, this trade is gonna win. And you know, trading is a lot about psychology. So they're like, yeah, nah, this trade is gonna win, guys. This is it. 20 lots, I'm gonna put 100 lots, let's go. This is the trade. This is your Lambo buying trade, guys. Let's go, let's do it. You know, that sort of mentality is what, you know, might make or break somebody, right? Especially somebody that's okay, yeah, into the trading space for quite a while now. Situations like that, if you and like if you get into a loss after a loss or a losing streak, yeah, a losing streak. I had a sort of losing streak for my for 2 weeks, right? Controlled one though, like negative 6% one, yeah, negative 6% for the boat. No, it was like -1, -6%, right? So 10% loss in the span of 2 weeks. Which really isn't bad considering how much we do profit here in the TrinFx VIP and stuff like that. Yeah, no, but at the same time, it's pretty bad to take a loss, right? And when you have a loss after a loss, market's just not agreeing with your strategy or whatever it is, it could be sort of, you know, discouraging planning mentality. And if you're somebody that's weak and not too confident in your strategy, it can make you second guess, rethink everything. Well, you just stuck to our guns. We did the same thing over and over. We really profited pretty nicely from the VIP group, right? So just like go over like quickly in the VIP group, right? So we had the entity card for this week alone, right? Yeah, so we had the AED USD. This was the first trade that we took. This was for a buy continuation, but again, we saw the dollar actually picked up a little bit. So price did drop back from this level here, which resulted in a stop out, right? Then we had GBP CAD again, sticking the same thing, risking 2%. We saw, all right, was monitoring the trade. It was right around break even, a little bit lower than that. Right, so then you can manage to trade around 2% roughly, so the trade actually come up, right? And I removed my stuff to the original level and exited at a 1 to 3. So this was like a 6% gain, right? So if we just like 1 to 3, all right, minus the first initial loss, that's a 2% gain, risking 1%. AD CAD looking for sells at that point, risking 2%. Right, price went higher, we used a stop loss. So if you was risking 1%, you'll now be up only 2% for the week, right? Use a sell stop at the zone, looking for price to, you know, come back and meet us and whatnot, right? So this was the AD CAD sell stop, risky setup. And you saw how we actually put indication as to why this, that, or whatever, why it is I was looking for a sell situation. And price started moving downwards. We closed in profit around 2% from the first initial one and the second one, right? That resulted in around a 4% gain or something like that. So now you have a 6% gain, right? The NCD card, this was one, I believe, came out right around, well, 3% for me when the members came out. Or when I sold it out to the members, right, it was around, I think it was around like 1.5%, right? Because price wicked back down, right? At that point, it was like being more conservative with the trade, right? We came back up a little bit in profit. It was like around 1.5, about 2% profit. At that point, closed, and yeah, we called that, cut it off, whatever, right? So that resulted in overall around a 7% week, right? Just risking 1%, around 7%. Now if you risk the 2% like I did on this one and the other one, that's an additional 3% and another additional around 3%, so 6% added to the 7%, which will give us around a 13% gain or something like that, right? And that's just accounting for the trade sent here. Also did have, like I showed, AD CHF, right? So the thing is, right, a lot of the VIP members themselves are funded, right? So usually when I do take the trades or when I call out the trades, is keep that in mind, which is why every week I will enter with a 6% risk, right? And as we do gain, and this is part of my dynamic risk management strategy, as we do gain on whatever trades we do place, right, we manage those risks accordingly, right? So GJ starting to move a little bit to the downside. GJ, come on, be nice to us, let's do it. So yeah, no, with the VIP group, right, usually it's like this. All right, so each week, right, new week, the total risk is 6%, right? 6% is total risk, right? Now as we continue on, let's say for Monday, let's do like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, right? As each day continue, let's say, all right, on the Monday we make a negative 1%, right? Let's say that's what happened on Monday, and this is just like for example's sake, right? On the Tuesday we make a negative 2%, right? Let's say that's what happened, right? So that's negative 3 for the week. Now continuing forward, so let me load down this, let me take the volume down a little bit. Continuing forward, right, at this point we'll enter the dynamic risk management strategy, which is, okay, we start risking 0.5%, try to make back those gains. So 0.5%, we risk that, right? And let's say for this we get 1 to 5, right? Which is typical of us, right? Sometimes, most of the times, we get a 1 to 3, 1 to 5, sometimes 1 to 6, 1 to 7. It's rarely just 1 to 2, right? It's usually more than a 1 to 2, right? So, boom. Let's say we get that. We get like a 1 to 5 situation, right? So just by 5%. At that point, we're up a percentage for the day, 2.5%, right? So we gain back some, right? And Thursday, let's say same thing happened. Now we can start risking a 1% again, right? Because at that point, we could take the risk, we could take the additional risk. So we risk 1%, let's say that 1%, and we gain 3%, right? We gain 3% on that day, right? So we now up again, coming out total out of the drawdown, being up around 2.5%, right? For the week thus far. So at that point, we will either take, depending on the setup, again, we'll either take a full 1% risk or higher than that. Let's say on Friday we took a 1% risk, and that 1% resulted in 1 to 3 or 1 to 2 for the least, right? So let's say on 1 to 2, that 2% gain. So at that point, the total gain for the week is now equal to 4.5%, right? And this is just like utilizing a pretty simplistic strategy when it comes to risk management, but it also gives room for dynamic growth and compounding whatever your risk is, right? Essentially. So this is like it. Alright, so let's say we start off bad, continuing on, we start off bad again, we start going down to a lesser risk, build back up our capital, right? And at that point, we could be okay. At this point, if we're going to end the week on a bad note, then it will be in a small drawdown. But we could also take this opportunity to get out of that drawdown while as maintaining a low risk situation, a low risk week, right? And allowing ourselves room to grow for next week as well, right? So boom, you enter a trade setup and continuing on, and that's just it. You just keep on going, and vice versa. So let's say like for this year, right, we started off good, right? So for the first Monday, let's say we gained a 2% gain, second day a 1% loss, third day a 3% gain. At that point we're up 4%, right? On the fourth day, we could take a 2% risk on a trade, right? Depending on how that trade looks. Right, we take that risk from a 1 to 3, that trade turns into a 6% gain, right? So in overall, we're up 9%. And then for the Friday, we have room to actually take an additional risk or leave it as is, right? So we could take an additional risk. Let's say we risk 2% again. Either it gives us a gain of maybe like a 1 to 2, so a 4% gain, and we'll be up 13%, or right, we just lose and we up 7% in total, right? So that's it. That's like the dynamic of the risk management strategy that we do use and utilize, and it's good because it's good for funded accounts and stuff like that, right? So yeah, that's just a little insider on risk management wise. Coming to each week, you allocate an amount of risk that you're setting aside for each week, and as you compound and grow, that risk just grows, right? The risk could grow entirely. Now, for us in the VIP group, I do like to keep it consistent with the amount of risk that we take in each week, whatever. But you can see like this shit is just like it's insane. It's insane. The amount of profits that we do make is quite literally insane. All right. So like this year, 80 USD. This was one trade here. That's pretty nice. Price came down. You can see that right there. Alright, so we bought at this level, risky setup, market's being weird, managed wisely. Why we up a lot for the week was up a lot already for the week. So but we don't want to take any unnecessary L's, right? So let the price do its thing first 30 minutes, then decide afterwards. And you can see responding to that. Sheesh, it went up. Boom, easy like that. And then we even went higher. At this point, profit target got taken out, so we was up even more. And I'm just backtracking here, right? This was Eurocard on one, so the Eurocard didn't end up playing out well, right? The Eurocard didn't end up playing out well. Besides that, we had the GBP card, right? GBP card ended up playing for 1.5%. We exited that in profit. As you see, we entered there, exited the 1% profit. We had AD CAD CHF, was CAD CHF. Right, so you had the CAD CHF entered, CAD CHF played all the way out to 3% and even went further down. CAD CHF went as far as to being all the way down to 1 to 10, right? 1 to 10 RR, right? Which was insane. Kind of salty about that, but it happens. JPY, this was one trade that we took, right? Impulse entry for price continuation back into these levels here. We noted that this was like a 1 to 3 here, closed on, took the profits. So that was for the starting of July 6th, right? So that was on July 6th for that day. So we had that 3% gain, then another 3% gain. We had one loss on the euro card, and then we had the next gain here. So like 6% for that day alone. Backpedaling a little bit here. Alright, sell stop entries here for the AED JPY. Right, the AED JPY. We had price going down once, right? We had a Euro NCD trade as well, closed at 1% profit. Price is going down, then put a sell stop entry here. GP JPY, this was a sell stop entry, but I don't think it ended up playing out. Yeah, the Euro NCD, this was it, risking 2%, right? So that came out as a 2% trade for me on that day. Look, we had these other trades here, so 80 JPY, you can see, and this was like a call by call, played out. Yeah, price came up and played all the way out, right? So that was nice. 3% profit, 7% in my case. I can see it's just like it's so boring, right? It's so boring. But yeah, just back and back, same shit. JPY, then I'll buy stop. Right, this was July 4th. You can see that price went up. At that point, we took another trade setup right into that level. Right, you can see I called out here, buy stop, secondary entry for the continuation, buy stops here. You got a price continued up, and this is what netted around, I think, 2% or something like that for me. Because I risked this trade. I was already up already. So yeah, this was great. But yeah, that's basically how we do it. Back and forth. GJ right now. At this point, this is like a consolidation point, right? So we have like a minute to kind of close. If we get that bearish close below all of this noise, right? Again, bearishness showing from here to the top side. If we do get that candle close down here, then I would expect the second candle to continue moving further downwards. And at that point, you could take your profits at like a 10 pips profit, maybe a 1-to-1, something like that, just to be a little bit more conservative. It should continue all the way down, but I just don't like. It depends on how the candle closes, right? If we get a close into the zone, then great. But if we get a close that is sort of like, all right, this hesitance that we're seeing, at that point it's better to be more conservative, right? Especially if you have a drawdown or anything like that. This is a point to be conservative with the trades that you're taking. So GG right now, you can see that the candle body is closing near to the opening. It looks like that's going to be the case here in the next 5 seconds or so. Right, so candle closing within the body. Right, so at that point I'll say manage your risk, because we didn't get that break to the downside. Now if this candle does break to the downside, shit, continuations all the way down, 100% full margin trade. Right, full margin, everything, risk everything. This is not legal financial advice. Alright, this is a personal opinion. I feel like I need to make that disclaimer. But yeah, continuation just seems like the higher probable thing. Overall bearish market tone, and yeah, just going with the trend itself, right? So that is like the trade for GJ right there. Alright, so I'm gonna call it a day here, guys. Thank you for joining in. If you found anything here from the stream useful, informative, please feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I am doing the live streams every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I promise you that. This is what I'm gonna do every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 a.m. EST. London sessions. Stay here for hours. So just look at any markets, possible trade setups and stuff like that. Maybe we get something, maybe we don't get something. We look at a different pair or something like that. Right. So thank you guys so much for joining in. I really do appreciate your patronage. Feel free to share the videos, like, subscribe, comment. If you have any questions, I'll reply to the comments as well. And yeah, that's about it. I'll let you guys know what happens within Discord if you're already in Discord. And if you're not, then feel free to click on another one of the videos and find the
the link to the Discord in one of those. So yeah, I'm really not feeling like to post it right now again on this video. So that's about it. Again, thank you guys. Hope you guys have a great trading rest of the week, and peace. Call it a day.